White guys and a team of white guys about to have a track meet.
Point the camera back over. You think they're finna beat us? I'm just ready to run, man.
We might be white, we might be small, we might be unathletic.
End of sentence.
Yeah.
Brett said y'all got to get away from the cop speed. That's the first thing he said.
He promised me a round of golf if we win.
Promise other guys chicken.
It is a little bit higher. I'm terrified.
The moment.
I'm terrified.
On your mark. Get set. White people go. Black people go. Woo. All right, we're at the first exchange. Got a little bit of a lead. Oh no, they're already catching them. The third exchange, the black people already have a huge lead. Oh, look at him. He's moving.
Oh my God. This might be the
Backflip, backflip, backflip. Oh, holy cow.
He was moving.
Oh wait, here they come.
I thought I was moving, I'm gonna be honest. I did until I seen a flash of black.
We got a team of black.
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 2. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power, and the Lord hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, above all the nations that are upon the earth. Shalom, shalom. I want to start by giving all praises, glory, and honor to the Lord Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai Bahashem Kakadash. My name is Brother Napak from the Camp Prophets in Babylon down here in Tempe, Florida. And I want to get that honor to the elders and apostles, the great millstone who teach and rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and the ones listening in. And I want to get into a quick lesson on this video. I just put up. It says black versus white track meet. You know, and you guys seen the video and you seen how they got smoked. You know, and it's also, you know, just Jacob versus Esau. All right. And we all know the story of Jacob and Esau. All right. And Jacob is the forefather, you know, of the Israelites, man. All right. And Esau is the forefather of these damn Edomites, you know, these heathens. All right. So-called, you know, white people. All right. That's Esau's their forefather. All right. So, yeah, this track meet. And, you know, they were saying their little jokes, you know, their proverbs and bywords, you know, about each race. You know, it's pretty funny. But, you know, more to the story is that it just shows you how above, all right, and genetically, you know, better Jake is than Esau. All right, and there's a reason for that. You know, I just read the scripture. All right, there's a reason for that. It's because the Lord has chosen us, all right, as his people. All right, a chosen nation, okay, by the Lord himself. And if we were chosen by, you know, the Almighty, you know, since we were chosen by the Almighty and, you know, he's above all, wouldn't he get the nation that is above all, you know, genetically, all right? It's in their DNA, man, all right? You know, Jake is, you know, just naturally good at everything, bro. And you have Esau tell you that. You know, oh, man, you guys are just naturally good. You can just, you know, you got, it's your genetics, man. It's your genetics, all right? You know, an example particular is this guy at my job. You know, he always say how they age. You know, this Edomite guy is always telling me, you know, yo, we age like milk, and you guys age like fine wine, you know? And you just always say that. You just keep saying it. It's just like Esau, you know, really just envy us, man. All right, the oppressor, Esau, who's in rulership right now, he envies us, man. All right, and ultimately, they want to be us because of, you know, the Lord, and the Lord has chosen us, and the Lord is our power. All right, so they want that, you know. But you got Jake. They don't understand that. All right. You know, so I'm gonna bring this back. This is Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 2, but I want to get in the NLT. It says, you have been set apart as holy to the Lord your power. He has chosen you from all the nations of the earth to be his own special treasure. So out of all the nations of this earth, the Lord has chosen us to be his own special treasure. All right, separate from the rest, separate from these heathens, man. All right, and you can tell we're different. You can tell we're separate. You can tell we're a lot, better. All right, we're just in captivity right now. We're in servitude unto these devils, unto base men. All right, the scripture says we're above all. All right, and they say that Esau is the base man. So we're at the top, and Esau way at the bottom, man. The scriptures describe them as base men, cavemen. Like, originally meant to be at the bottom, but they schemed and, this deceived their way onto the top. But the Lord is going to bring back everything back in its rightful order. So I want to get this word peculiar. Actually, it says
Strong's H 5459. Segalah.
It says possession, property. All right, valued property, peculiar treasure. All right. So ultimately, man, we're the Lord's possession, man. All right, valued possession, but valued treasure, man. All right. We're special unto the Lord. I want to also get in that word, holy.
Strong's H 6918. Kadosh.
And it says sacred.
Second entry. Kadosh.
Salakia. And it says sacred, holy, holy one, saint, set apart. All right. So it's evident, man, that we're set apart from Esau, Edom. All right. When you had Esau and Jacob in the belly of Rebekah, they were fighting. All right. And you can tell that, Jacob had the upper hand because Esau came out first. And it wasn't just out of, he was just, born first. Nah, man, Esau was running from Jacob. Man. All right. So even from the beginning, though, Esau and Jacob was at a variance, man, with each other, So even to this day now, you still got them trying to compare each other. You still got Jake, our Esau comparing himself to Jake. Really, these Edomites knew they was going to lose. They knew they was cooked, man. All right? You had the guy at first, he said, yeah, we just, we're small, unathletic. All right? And you would have an unathletic Jake still smoke them, man. Jake don't really be into sports. All right? But he will still smoke them. I remember a minute back, I believe I was in middle school, and you had this big Jake, but he still played on a football team. You would say he's athletic, but he was sloppy built, man. All right, racing against this Edomite, and he smoked him. All right, he smoked the Edomite. This is a sloppy big Jake, bro, and this Edomite, he's small. All right, he looks pretty fast, and he still got smoked by Jake, man. And Jake diet consists of all types of abominable things and greasy foods and chemicals that these devils put into our food to slow us down and make us, to lower our what's the word? To lower our abilities. All right? I'll just say abilities, man. To lower our abilities, because they know if Jake ate right, man, they went back unto the Lord, they, had more discipline. Jake will overturn Esau, man, because the Lord's going to be with us. All right? Not only are we going to be fit, strong, our genetics are going to be all, special and amazing, and, brothers are going to be tall and, but the Lord's going to be with us for coming back unto him, and Esau know that. So that's why Esau tries to patch us or nerf us, as much as they can. All right? To weaken our abilities, to weaken us as a people, as much as they can because they know that we will overtake this shit, man. All right? But either way, they still going to get overtaken. All right? Because the Lord still has a specific amount of men, a number of men that's going to take over this place and take the kingdom. All right? With the Lord Yahweh Shai. This is Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. It says, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth." All right? So we are a holy people unto the Lord our power, man. A separate people. All right? So the Lord made us, physically separate from these people, man. Not only we just separate, as a nation, all right, and as with our inheritance that we will receive, all right, but we're separate physically, man. All right, Jake's stronger, faster, all right, look better. When they get older, they still look better. Jake be in their 50s looking like they're still 20. All right, looking like they're still, 30. All right. But Esau can't do that. Esau got to, do all his rituals and, drink blood and all these different things to make himself and his celebrities still look young. But Jay don't got to do that, man. This is Deuteronomy 7 and 6 in the NLT. It says, "For you are a holy people who belong to the Lord your power. For all the people on earth, the Lord your power has chosen you to be his own special treasure. The Lord did not set his heart on you and choose you because you were more numerous than other nations, for you were the smallest of all nations." So the Lord ain't just choose us because we was more numerous. We have more numbers. We got more than these other nations. All right, because at one point, we were the smallest. We didn't have that many, that big number. No, that's not what the Lord chose. It says, "Rather, it was simply because that the Lord loves you, and he was keeping an oath he has sworn to your ancestors. This is why the Lord rescued you with such a strong hand from your slavery and from the oppression hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt." All right, so that's why the Lord has been rescuing us from all our captivities, and he's going to rescue us from this captivity. All right, he's been, because he sworn unto our ancestors, our forefathers. All right, so he continuously watch out for us. He continuously bless us. All right, So, hey, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect. I just want to get into a quick hit on that. One of the brethren sent this to me. I was just like, bro, I got to get into a lesson on it because, you see how Jake, it's just overall better than Esau, all right? So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Kakadash. Shalom, Akim.